Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Bjorn, who is the board director, and Andreas Konert, head of business development for Dechema. And they are organisers of the upcoming, as you can tell from Bjorn's screen, Achema 2022, which is running in August on the 22nd to the 26th in Frankfurt. And they have got nearly 2,200 exhibitors, maybe more than that now actually, because that was a figure I saw a couple of weeks ago. And it's across 10 halls at the Frankfurt Messe. So Bjorn, Andreas, it's lovely to see you both. How are you?
Hey, thanks to have us, Rizwan. I'm fine, thanks.
And Andreas?
Happy to be back, and sound as ever. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell actually, these gentlemen have been globetrotting actually all over Far East Asia and Southeast Asia over the last few months. But I can't see a tan, gentlemen, so that's a bit disappointing, I have to say.
It's hard to get a tan if you don't leave a conference room or the plane.
I know the feeling, I know the feeling. Right, so look, let's start off, let's talk about Achema then, which is coming up in a few weeks' time. First question, for those people not familiar with Achema, would one of you give me a quick overview of the event? Bjorn, would you like to do that?
Yes, of course, Rizwan. I mean, Achema is now a more than 100-year-old trade show, and it's solely dedicated to the chemical and pharmaceutical process industries. So it's really a one-stop show where you find everything you need to do research or to produce in the chemical and pharmaceutical industry, starting from all the laboratory and analytical stuff you need, up to the mechanical and thermal processes, the large plant engineering, automation, control techniques. It's all about pump and valves. So, for example, we are the single largest pump show all over the world. And of course, we have everything in terms of packaging, especially pharma packaging and storage and logistic techniques. So really everything you need to do research and produce in our industry. And this makes Achema so unique and makes Achema the #1 platform to exchange new ideas along the whole value chain of the chemical and pharmaceutical industry.
Right, well, thank you for that overview. Now, for those people who've never been though, and I've been fortunate to go to one Achema anyway in my time working in life science and pharma, I tried to explain to people how big a scale it is as a show, because I don't think people can appreciate actually how big a show it is unless you've been to it. Now, I was at Analytica recently, which was in Munich, and that was a pretty big show. But I know Achema dwarfs that in terms of size, and other people know CPHI, which again is a big show with lots of halls. But again, Achema dwarfs that as well. So how big a show is it in terms of numbers and halls and sort of square meterage, if you like?
It's a really big show, and of course this year's edition is a little bit smaller than we used to it from the last decade, but we still have almost 2,200 exhibitors in place from more than 50 countries. We are having a cross exhibition square meter of more than 160,000 square meters. So, and we have a net exhibition space of close to 80,000 square meter. So as you said, it's more than 10 halls. To be precise, it's 13 hall levels in Frankfurt. It's spanning all over the Frankfurt exhibition grounds. And it's directly divided into different technical groups. So for example, the pharma packaging group you will find in hall 3, you will find mechanical processes in hall 12, automation in hall 11, you will have all the engineering and also the biotech reactor companies you find in hall level 9.1. So it's really spun all over the fairground, and it's massive. And if you visit Achema, you should bring just comfortable shoes.
I thought you, well, I was going to say yes, because it's the first show I actually, after day one, I put trainers on and wore that for the rest of the show, because it was such a big show. My feet were killing me the first time I went to Achema, and I had to put my trainers on. And you do really need to use the buses as well, people. If you are going to be there for the 5 days and you don't plan your day out well, and you want to go from hall 3 to hall 12, then I would recommend trying to get the buses in between the halls. It's a long walk in between.
Let me add 2 points on this one. Totally agree with the shoes, and being there 5 days in a row is just exhausting. But 2 things about big. It's also a conference with about 600 contributions coming in, which is geared at the process industry. And the biggest thing for me is actually the Achema community dropping in and using the exhibition, using the show as a networking platform. I mean, we've got people from 150 countries pouring in. We got the engineers, we got the scientists. It's not just, everyday folk running through the halls. It's really engaging discussions at the sites with the exhibitors, big tech expositions, and that's just to add to making it big. It's a big show.
Yeah, well, you also already touched upon what I was going to ask you about, what are the traditional companies exhibiting there and the visitor profile. But what, specifically, which you mentioned obviously about life science and pharma, what features have you got set up this year at Achema in relation to pharma and life science?
I think when it comes to features, I mean, the most exciting features are going to be brought in by the exhibitors, because they got all the new innovative updates to their technology. They got the world premieres coming in, happening at the show, and they got all these neat little features when it comes to digital solutions or new flexible solutions for pharma production or research and development. So our contribution just builds on that. Some things about pharma and life sciences we've added. First of all, I want to mention the focal topics. The digital lab, modular and connected production, and product and process security are the focal topics for Achema 22. All of these things are currently drivers in the pharmaceutical industry as well, and they're covered in great detail and depth at Achema in August. I want to highlight one thing. The digital lab is very interconnected. We're going to have a dedicated stage. We're going to have a dedicated action area where you can see the lab of the future with live demonstrations happening around the clock during the show on hall 4.1, just right next to the pharma packaging activities. And that's actually worthwhile for most life science, which are very research heavy and lab and quality heavy, to maybe have a glimpse at that. Also, we're collaborating with the International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering, short ISPEM, to set up a pharma innovation stage right there in hall 3.0, where we can talk about, well, you got sustainability, you got flexibility, you got digital, but then again, it's all a different game in pharma because it's highly regulated and it's very specific details that you need to keep in mind. And we do have a very strong pharma community at Achema, so we made it a point to actually not just talk about this on a global scale, but also adapt it to pharmaceutical needs. So we have a stage set up in hall 3 where we're going to be talking about pharma 4.0, where we're going to talk about the Annex 1 issue with aseptic packaging and filling and all the stuff that you know far better than I do when it comes to innovation. But we're also going to talk about the new normal in pharmaceuticals. I mean, pharma basically saved our ass for couple of years, pardon my language, but they brought in new ways of working and new methods of working, and that really picked up speed also in terms of regulatory, and we're going to have a look at that and how we keep that momentum alive. Last but not least, we are talking about digitization in a new exhibition group with digital solution providers joining the Achema exhibition community, right. And that might also be worthwhile dropping in for most life science and pharmaceutical companies, because that's part of the future we're looking into.
Fantastic. Bjorn, from your point of view, what are the key topics for you this year?
There's not really much to add what Andreas already outlined, but we have 2 topics on a meta level, which are really impacting more or less all the innovations shown at Achema this year. And that's on the one side, the digital transformation, and on the other side, the green transformation. The chemical and the pharmaceutical industry are going to a net zero carbon neutrality. And of course, we will see these with a dedicated focus on life science and pharmaceutical industry as well. So, for example, all the topics around sustainable packaging, how to do this, how to be more efficient, more energy efficient in packaging of pharmaceuticals, and how can we better automate these processes. All these things will be shown at Achema this year, and will be the key innovation drivers besides what Andreas already mentioned, besides the hit by COVID 2 years ago, and how this impacted future project management in the pharma industry and life science industries.
Fantastic. Now, there's one thing we do have to talk about, and I hate to bring it up, but we've got to bring it. I'm getting it out the way. Obviously, Achema was originally planned for June 2021, and then we obviously, because of COVID, you had the digital version of 𝐫𝐞𝐧 last year, which I thought was very successful as well. But obviously, then was planned for April this year. You obviously have moved it back again this year into August. So what has the impact been from your point of view as organisers, and the feedback you've had from people, potential visitors and exhibitors, in terms of having moved it to August?
Well, I guess anybody in his private sphere has very controversial discussions about COVID, and it's really hard to get everybody on the same page on
Sure.
something. And I think not a few people will agree that by November last year, we all thought we were done and over with COVID. Vaccines were coming out, everybody was like fed up. And we actually had a meeting with all of our exhibitor board members late November, and we didn't even discuss COVID because we were so over and done with it. But then Omicron hit, and we knew things would be different. And the tough decision we had to take early on, because our exhibition is about the tech stuff the people get to see when they come there. And that's heavy investment by our exhibitors, and that takes months of preparation.
Sure.
So that's why we needed to make an early call. The show was planned just before Easter. There was a high risk COVID would not be under control by then. It was a high risk of regulatory issues, maybe measures running over the Easter holidays. That's how politics works. So it was a very bad risk to be associated with a show early in April, unfortunately. So we moved it to August. There's some, well, the plus of course was it's available, and it's a pretty COVID-proof date. I mean, look at Germany's regulation now. There's no travel restrictions all the way until the end of August. If you move it to fall, might be a different story again. So we had to do it somewhere in the summer. And of course, the obvious drawback is some people might be on vacation. But that's an opportunity as well, because I mean, having worked in the industry for so many years, like all of us have, I think usually you think back on the summer when everybody's gone on vacation, of that being the time when you get stuff done. And if you have that time available to go to a show, which is not distracting you from the busy project work you were doing in fall again and all the other shows that are running, it still gives you the same experience as you always has. You get the beautiful weather in Frankfurt. You get Frankfurt as a very attractive city, very easy to get to location. And yeah, so that's lots of opportunities we see in the date. The show is happening. It's going to be brilliant. And to top it off, and to actually take advantage of the beautiful sunshine we're expecting, there's going to be an open air happy hour happening every day during the show, just before the trade show closes. So if that doesn't swing you around, I don't know what does.
And hopefully, I'm not sure if they'll be doing it, but the transport, I know in Germany was €9 to travel for the whole month of each. Certainly in June they were doing that. I don't know if they're going to be doing it in August. But if they do, then that would be a really good thing to take up. If you're traveling to Germany in August, take it up, because I used it in June. It was fantastic actually to use the public transport.
Well, but if you want to do long distance trains, we also have a sweet deal with in our collaboration with a local train company to get you in the intercity express trains, which are actually, for me, somewhat more comfortable.
Fantastic. All right, now, well, look, that's really exciting. I'm really genuinely looking forward to attending actually Achema in August. I mean, it's such a big show. I've got to be honest. There's so many halls, so many companies there. From my perspective, I wish it was longer than 5 days, but I don't think I'll cover everything in the 5 days you've got, in all honesty. But that's just me being selfish. Now, looking ahead though, I mean, what are your plans for Achema looking ahead, you know, past this year's event? I know it's hard to look that far ahead because you've got the event coming up only in a few weeks' time, but how do you see Achema as a brand developing going forward?
Yeah, of course, we make our plans beyond 2022, even if we are very busy right now to prepare everything for the end of August. What we see, that especially our pharma technology and pharma packaging group was the fastest growing group in the last decade. And of course, we want to give them a room to further grow within Achema. and we really want to extend our footprint in the pharma and life science industry for the next editions. And on the other side, Andreas already mentioned, we are introducing a new exhibition group called Digital Hub this year. We will further grow this group as well, because for the first time we really have a home for all those companies who are offering software solutions, solely digital solutions for the process industry, which become more and more important. As you know, the process industry is a little bit lagging behind compared to the manufacturing industry. Especially for a lot of solution providers, it seemed to be harder to get into this industry, as planning and investment cycles are a little bit different, and we have much more a much different policy framework around this industry. But we see further growing demand for the process industry in these solutions. That's why we are setting up such a exhibition group, and we will grow this in the next editions as well. But of course, we will further focus on the core of Achema, what really makes us strong, to be the main meeting point for all people in this industry, not only for the salespeople, not only for the C-level and senior executives, but as well for all the technicians and engineers in this industry who really run the plant afterwards, who run the machinery and the equipment, who want to see it, who want to, let me say, hear how such a machine, a packaging machine, is running, and how is it doing. And we really want to be the main meeting point for this community, with the most exhibits on display, and that's what made Achema stronger since 1920. And of course, we won't forget about our roots, and we will really strengthen all this in the next years.
Fantastic. So I know I'm looking ahead a bit, but have you set a date for the next edition yet? And is it 2025 or is it 2024? Because obviously the dates have changed so much. When are you planning the next edition of Achema after this year?
No, we will go back in the normal rhythm, meaning that the next Achema after August 2022 will take place in June 24, and afterwards in June 27. So we will go back to the normal 3-year rhythm.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to that as well. Look, gentlemen, I wish you a fantastic summer and preparation for your event. I hope you feel better, Bjorn. Andreas, good luck with all the last minute selling and getting those last minute exhibitors in. So I wish you lots of success. I look forward to catching you up in person finally, because we've done this over Zoom over the last few years. It'd be nice to actually see you in person as well at the show in August as well. So good luck with that. So there you go, viewers. If you would like to know more about Achema, then the link to the event will be above the video, so you can find out more about the different exhibitors. There's a huge database there that you can search who's actually exhibiting by product category, as well as company name and the halls, and find out all the different features, the conference itself, and the talks that are going on. And also, I have a code that you can get a free ticket. So you can message me underneath the video and I'll send you the code so you can get a free ticket to attend as well. So gentlemen, good luck with everything in terms of planning. I wish you lots of success. I look forward to seeing you in person as well in August. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, and viewers, thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.